again for jumping back on with us. As you know, I'm the founder of the Success and Money Foundation.org. We're a nonprofit educational foundation. We're a charity, an NGO, and we teach kids, teens, young adults, and adults about success and money because you most likely didn't learn about it in school. Now, one of the things we're going to talk to you is about your small businesses. The thing that most people need to do is you need to learn how to make more money. Making more money is just one of the 5 steps, but that is the top line. That's the most important thing that you can do. And then the next one is getting that money invested so your money works for you. So I brought on our guest speaker who is on our board of advisors. This is Mr. Kurt Mortensen, a best-selling author. His books are all over the world. He is a podcaster, and he has a following from all around the world. So Kurt, let's go into step number 2, the second segment on how to get that small business up and going to create an extra stream of income. Take it away.
All right, let's get into more information. Again, whether you're growing or building your business, you got to open your mouth. You've got to talk to people, as we've been talking about. You got to find mentors, take millionaires to lunch, successful people, all very important pieces with that. And just continually let people know once is not enough. I was talking to a real estate agent who was just kind of sad. And his best friend went to another real estate agent. His best friend, one of his best friends, I don't know how close they were, but he'd consider him a pretty good friend. He's like, he went to my competitor and it bothered him. And he finally took this friend to lunch and said, how come this has really been hurting me? How come you went with that real estate agent instead of me? He's like, oh yeah, you're in real estate. So I don't know how good the friend was, but open your mouth, let people know multiple times about what you do and how the problems that you can solve. Because we're just talking about ways to grow a business, to even start a business, some things to think about, to plug those holes in your boat, to make sure you do it the right way. Remember, wealth, success is an open book test. You want to be a millionaire? You start thinking, acting, and doing what other millionaires do. That's the key. So let's continue on. Just some things to just think about as we go through this. Again, I want you to pick the ones that are really kind of coming at you like, yeah, that's mine. I need to work on it. As I spent the last 7 years training, teaching, researching entrepreneurs, why some are successful, why some are not. Now, a big one, and this one you probably already kind of intuitively know, is lack of resources. Now, that's not just, now there's financial resources, obviously, where you just run out of money to market, to talk to people, but it could be lack of time, a lack of support. Those could all be part of it. So lack of resources, you really have to plan ahead. And you don't want to hear this, but I'm not here to sugarcoat it. It seems with business, and I'm a serial entrepreneur, started a lot of businesses, is when you do your business plan, you figure it's going to cost this much. Really, it's probably going to cost 10 times more than that. just plan on that just in case. Well, it's going to take an hour a week. Well, it might take 10 times more than that, but just be flexible on your resources, financial resources, your time, that's a resource, and the support you have. So if you want to go full time, how long is it going to take? Are you going to do it on the side? Most people set aside too little. That's just how it is. If you're going to leave your full-time job, how much income do you need in the bank to make sure you can build your business for the next 12 months? And maybe add a little to that. Another one too is your spouse on board, your partner on board? It takes a very special person to be married to an entrepreneur. It does. Some people need that check every month, that job security. So make sure you have that resource too, that your spouse, your partner's on board. They know what your goals are, what you're going through, how you're going to get there. I mean, there are a lot of things that come with owning a small business. Are you okay to eat rice for every meal for a couple of months? So you've got to put yourself in the right thing. It's getting the resource, building it up, building it. And one of my favorite quotes, this also comes from Jim Rohn, is, do you want to spend a day at the beach or own a piece of the beach? I mean, so for that 6-12 months, whatever it takes of eating rice and sacrificing and spending a lot of time and not going to the beach, it's worth it to you, because as entrepreneurs, we know it's going to work out. We know that after we built our business, we can buy a piece of the beach. And so you have to have that in mind, but realize you need those resources. If you're going to spend full time on your business, do you have resources, financial, the time, the support around you? Just something to think about as you go through it, because it's very hard for some to be entrepreneurs, because sometimes it's unsure. As you know, when you work for a company, there's a check every week. Well, entrepreneur, sometimes it's a big check, sometimes it's a small check. It's a little different mindset than some. So make sure you have those resources. Other one, and Tom mentioned this one too, we've talked a lot about this here at Success and Money Live, is the failure. What if people say no, right? What if I talk to them and I put my heart and soul into it and they say no? It hurts my feelings. Okay. What do they say? Here's your saying. You've probably heard this one before. Some will, some won't, some won't. So what? Who's next? Right? So remember, and I love it, I learned this from Robert Allen, is that every no is closer to yes. See, in real estate, he talks about that if you talk to 10 people and 9 people say no, but when that 10th person says yes, you made $10,000. That means every no is worth $1,000 for you. Huh. So if your mindset is, oh, no, oh, $1,000, thank you. No, another $1,000, thank you, because someone's going to say yes. So if you treat every no like that's the next closer to yes, and just get over it. Some will, some won't. Okay, open your mouth. So that's important. Sure, we all have the fear of criticism, the fear of rejection. Remember when I talked about fear, it was a while back, but those are learned fears. You were only born with 2 fears: fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. The only fears you were born with. So fear of criticism, fear of rejection, fear of the no, those are all learned. Ding, ding. So you can unlearn them. So remember that you're doing it, that every time you get that no, every time you fail, you're closer to success. So you need to treat failure like a seed to success. So when you learn from your failures, that's part of being an entrepreneur. When you fail and like, oh, that hurt, and you don't try again, that's failure. So every time you fail, every time you hear your no, you're closer to success. You're getting better in your presentation, and that's okay. So get past that. Get past the no. Some will. If you're getting, if everybody, we say this in sales training, if you 100% of the people say yes, you're not talking to enough people. So be okay with no. Be okay with a little rejection. That's why you're getting paid the big money, because most people don't like it. It's like, okay, they're not rejecting you personally. They're just not ready for your product or your service or your idea. Don't take it personally. Right? It's not like they're attacking you as a person. Well, maybe they do, but the reality is just they're saying no. Don't take it personally. Be good with no. It's okay. Every no pays you $1,000 or whatever your math is. Every no pays you $100. And then when you have that mindset, you're like, oh, thanks. You know, you're closer to that. We don't give up. We have that thing. And that's what I've noticed with entrepreneurs is it's just, they're more persistent. They're not smarter. They're more persistent. They can handle more no's. They keep going. They keep going until they're successful. Because when you really want to be successful and you have your why, then you're persistent. You're just going to keep doing it until it happens. You don't start crying the first time someone says no. It's part of the process. That's how we learn. The first failure, the first time you do something dumb. And I could give you a long list of dumb things I've done. Oops, that wasn't good, but I learned. I grew from it, and that's okay. That's part. So every failure is a seed of success. Every no, you're closer to the money, to the success. And that is one that's very, very important. We spend all day on fear and motivation, getting yourself there, but persistence, just doing it, just being persistent. I will always take a salesperson or an entrepreneur that's persistent over brains, over education, because they'll do it. They'll do it. They'll make it happen. Okay, so think about it. The fear, the no. Other one to think about too, and this one really gets me, and this is universal around the world for all entrepreneurs, is the concept of price. What are you going to charge? Okay. Most entrepreneurs, because it's their service, don't charge enough. They discount themselves. Everybody knows you get what you pay for. So decide what you're going to charge. Take a deep breath and add a 0 to it. Okay. That's what I would do, because you don't want to be fighting on price. It's people just discount themselves. They don't charge enough for what they do. You're good at what you do. You're solving their problem. If you don't take their money, somebody else will, and they're not doing a good job. Like we talked about earlier, you've got you be what you're worth. You're the expert. You're good at what you do, whether it's painting or a service that you're providing. You're not charging enough. You need to make a profit. Anybody can fight on price. I don't want you to do that, because that's your quality. You're good at what you do. You get what you pay for. So don't undercut yourself. Know what you're worth. You worked hard to develop your skills, your service, and you deserve to get paid well for them. I mean, if you fight on price, you have to sell 10, but if you're good at what you do, you only need to sell 1. So be careful with price. Again, it's the mindset of entrepreneurs sometimes where they just discount themselves. They don't charge enough. And be careful here too with the pricing. Is you want to start as high as you can. You can always come down, right? But you can't go up. So if you start with the lowest price possible, there's nowhere to go. If they're trying, because most people try to get a better deal, get more out of you. So if you start the lowest price possible and they want a discount, you're going to lose money. So it's okay to start high. And then, if you need to come down a little bit, that's okay. That's fine. If you need to add a few things to it, that's fine too. But don't discount yourself. You're good at what you do. You're going to solve their problem, and they'll be happy to pay for it. People are happy to pay you when you solve their problem. And so don't get so concerned about price. Add a 0. All right. Do the math. Know exactly what you are going to charge and do. So that's something that's just a mindset issue that you need to work on. Charge what you're worth. Don't discount yourself. The other one too, with a lot of entrepreneurs, especially as your business grows, you try to do everything yourself. And I get it. You want to learn it. You want to do it as entrepreneurs. We want to do the marketing. We want to do the tags. We want to do the other things. And sometimes it's more profitable to hire somebody else. Like here in the United States, a good tax accountant pays for themselves. A good lawyer pays for themselves. And so there's a time and place where you need professional advice, professional services, whether it be a lawyer or an accountant or someone to help you with taxes, or maybe someone to help you build your websites. You have to ask yourself, is it worth your time to learn how to build your own website? Maybe. Or is it better to hire someone just to get it done? So you have to kind of look, where's your time best spent as an entrepreneur? What are your strengths? If it's a weakness and you don't feel good at building websites, you don't know how, you don't want to do your own accounting, there's a time and place to where they'll actually pay you more to find, like a good tax accountant will save you more money in taxes than what they're charging you. The proper legal structures, the way things are set up. So just open your mind as you grow your business. You could figure out how to build a website, but is that worth your time? Is it cheaper and faster to hire somebody else? Is that true for your marketing, for your accounting, for your taxes, for your legal structure? Where do you need to start outsourcing? And that's very, very important as you grow your business, because as entrepreneurs, we want to hold on to everything. I can do everything. And you're smart enough, but is that the best use of your time? Should you spend more time selling face-to-face, talking to people, and make more money doing the sales, and then have somebody else build the website, maybe do the marketing, maybe do the legal? See what I'm saying here? It's just the way the entrepreneurial brain is set up. We want to do everything many times. We want to focus on things. Sometimes we need to let go, especially as we grow your business. Things that maybe even you're good at, you need to let go, that you need to focus on those income producing activities, the things you do the best. the things you do the best. So big piece of that. And then final one here, let's talk a little bit about is, as you grow your business, protect yourself, have your contracts. Let you go in business with your family and friends on a handshake. Careful of that. You need a contract. But the final one is just learn to benchmark. What is that? Well, benchmarking is basically you're looking at the people that are doing it well. Remember, success is an open book test. Maybe you're interviewing them, you're talking to them, you're looking at their website. Maybe you're going into their store. Maybe you're talking to them. Maybe you're listening to one of their webinars, and then take what you like, what they're doing well, and you use it. It's perfectly legal. It's perfectly fine. That's what all businesses do. If I'm starting a business, I look at the top 5. What are they doing well? How does their website look? And I don't copy it exactly. I take a piece from this one. I like that. And a piece from this website, a piece from this website. And that's my website. Whatever you do, you can benchmark the people around you that are doing it. Because if you're the only one that's doing it, there might not be a market for it. There are a lot of people doing it. That means there are a lot of people that are interested, a lot of people that have that problem. So learn to benchmark. A lot of people, I can't do that. No, that's not stealing. That's how things are done. I used to be in advertising. What do? A new client, they want to sell travel. Well, you look at the other 5 or 6 people that are doing it well. You say, oh, they're doing their marketing this way. I'll take from this. Benchmark. Look what other people are doing. You don't have to figure it out on your own. Other people have figured it out, and you do that. When I write a book, I don't make it all up. I'll look at the top 20 books. I'll do research. Oh, I like this. I'll do this, and I'll bring it together and make it mine. That's okay to do that, but start being more observant, benchmark, go to their website, go to their store, again, watch their webinar, and don't copy it exactly, but the way they have this set up, I like it. I'm going to put that on my website. Oh, the way they're doing their marketing, I can adapt it and do it that way. Learn to benchmark, be more, you don't have to figure it out all on your own. That's the message today. There are people that'll mentor you, that'll help them out. Like Tom said, is take them to lunch, interview them, talk to them, or even better, help them with their goals. If there's someone that you want to mentor with, help them with their charity, help them with their goals, and get in their world. And then all of a sudden, like Tom says, they know you now, and they're more willing to help you. And that is a key factor with what you're doing. So those are just a few tidbits to think about as you grow your business. Everyone needs one. To get that side hustle Tom talks about. Even if it's just an hour a day, start working on it, start building it, start growing it. And eventually, the day, I promise this can happen to you. If you stay on course, that day when your side hustle is making more than your full-time job, giddy up. That's the exciting part. And you can decide, I'm done. And you get to fire your boss and you get to earn what you're worth, right? And that's the excitement. That's why we're here. And when you earn what you're worth, then you're doing more time giving back, giving to charities, helping out, building people, more time with your family and friends. Remember, right now, we're staying away from the beach so we can own a piece of the beach.
All right. Well, thanks, Kurt. I love the beach, and it's pretty expensive owning the beach. So, take your money and get it working for you, and then just go visit the beach. Anyway,
you can do that too.
Let me tell you a couple of pluses that I love what Kurt's talking about, and from my angle. My grandpa used to say, it's going to take you twice as long to do whatever you're going to do. And it's going to cost you twice as much as you thought it was going to cost you. And you're going to make about half as much as you thought you were going to make, which is totally okay. But just be aware of that. It's just a game. Twice as long, twice as much, and you're probably going to make it half as much that you were going to make otherwise. But if you can simplify your businesses, it's about simplification. How do you simplify and then multiply? How do you make it as simple as possible? Everybody wants to make it so exotic and sophisticated. That kills it. We want it as simple as possible. And one of those things is when you're thinking about what kind of business that you're going to be into, I want you to experience quite a few different ones. And I want you to look at what is the great thing about them and what is the bad thing about them. Some businesses require a lot of money. Some businesses require a lot of time. Some businesses have high risk. Now, if you get into a business Yeah, I want you to research the other 9 people in that same business, because most likely you're going to make about the average of that business. If you had 10 farms around you, 9 farms around you, you're going to make probably much the average. You're not going to be that much better than the other farmers around you. You're going to be about average. Some might be another 20% higher. Some are going to be 20% lower. The key, though, is to find the right business, one that has a lot of margin in it, a lot of profit in it. Some of these guys have such tiny, tiny, tiny little profit margins that it's really, really hard to be able to make a profit. The other one is how much, you want to be able to get traffic that is naturally coming by you that you can sell stuff to, versus having to go get that traffic. Going out and marketing and advertising is usually pretty hard. It's hard finding new customers, and it's hard getting them to buy. So one of the things that I want you to keep track of is that every time that you talk to someone, what's your close ratio? If you talk to 10 people, how many of those people can you get to buy your product? And if it's 1 out of 10, well, you've got a 10% close ratio. If it's 1 out of 20, it's a 5%. And the way you keep track of that, then you say, well, what can I do to learn from this? How can I do it better? How can I do what some of my competition is doing? Because, as you're inventing yourself, you're inventing your life. When I was younger, I said, I would look at these role models and I would go, there's Bob Allen. I remember that one of my church leaders, I went to a seminar, Bob Allen seminar, and one of my church leaders happened to be there. And he said, look how he dresses, look how he talks, and become that. Really? Yeah, just follow that. So my life is a compilation of people that I've liked, that I've taken what they talk about and brought it into my own life. Sometimes it's movies. I quote movies and stuff, and that's who I am, because that's who we've learned from. So in your own mind, you're going to create this new person. You're going to be that person. You're going to be different. So I liked what Steve Jobs talks about. I like how he did it. I like how Roy Disney did whatever he did, or Walt Disney. I'm learning from those people and I'm bringing it into my own life. When we talk about people saying no, it's not personal. They're not saying, no, I don't like you. They're saying, no, I don't need your product. It's nothing to do with you personally. You guys are taking it personal. It's not personal. It's all about what do they need, and do they need it now? If they don't need it now, they're probably not going to buy it. So it's not personal. It's just, did you get them at the right time? So that's kind of important there. When you talk about the presentations, we were talking about your close ratio. If you are selling 1 out of 10 people that you actually do a presentation to, and you can figure out how to sell 2 out of 10, okay? Instead of 1 out of 10, you're selling 2 out of 10. You just doubled your business. So what do we got to work on? What we've got to work on is those areas that's going to have the biggest growth for what we're doing. If you can close 3 out of 10, then you just tripled your top line revenue on an income statement. This is the most that you're bringing in, and you just tripled it. So study the people that do that. And there's all kinds of people. When I was growing up, we had books. That was about it. And you had to go track down a mentor to talk to. Now your mentors are all online. The University of YouTube, Success and Money Foundation could not have been created when I was growing up or when I started my businesses. The technology just wasn't there. Okay, I remember one of my friends first got this big old walkie-talkie sized telephone, and he came into the office and I was so impressed. And he says, guess what? I just fired my assistant because I don't need her anymore because I've got this big old brick as a phone. Okay, technology has changed, and you guys around the world are listening to us right now. That would not have been possible a handful of years ago. Okay, talking about the price, one of the things about price that I've learned is that you need some kind of a way to get people attracted to your world, something that is low cost or no cost to start with, something that you can give to them that will actually add value to their life. And if you added value to their life, then the next piece is to be able to start selling something. Now, I like what Kurt's talking about with a higher price. Now, for many of you, if the price you figure is too high, you're not adding enough value. So add more value. If you can add more value and more things that you can do that are simple to be able to deliver, then that's the easiest way to be able to justify whatever you're selling, whatever price it is. Okay. And then you can always move that price down. And if they say no to this, then will they say yes to this, or yes to this, or yes to this, or yes to this? So that's kind of the way that you do your pricing model. Get them in for free, get them in for a low cost or no cost. And then you offer something with a lot of value. And if they say no to that, then you offer them something that you take one of the things off out of the kitchen sink or something else until you get them to be able to say yes to that. And then you start, okay, well, if you like that, now let's go with another method of learning and start moving them up and reselling them on other things. The most profitable thing you can do is sell more product to an existing student, to an existing client, to an existing person. The most expensive thing you can do is go out and find new ones to be able to do that with. Okay. Sales and marketing. Everybody just wants to do the easy part of it. Writing a book. I'll give you an example. Most people spend years writing their masterpiece, writing their book, and then they don't take any time to market it. Okay. You know what we do? We did it. We did an infomercial where we spent $200,000 to sell a book. And guess what? We didn't even write the book. We hadn't written the book yet. We'd created the infomercial. We created the marketing plan, and we actually went out and tested it, sold the product. And if the marketing worked out well enough, then we gave those people the money back on the test. And then we hired someone to write the book. Do opposite of what everybody else does. Instead of writing the book and spending years writing it, spend time figuring out how to market it. Because if it's a book, for example, the book publisher just distributes it. They don't market it. You need to learn how to do self-marketing, S&M, self-marketing. You have to market your product and then have other people help you do the fulfillment on it. Okay. And one last piece on doing stuff yourself. And I love what Kurt's going, these are right on. I learned a long time ago that, if you are mowing the lawn, you are getting paid like somebody that mows the lawn. If you're an investor, you get paid like someone who's an investor. Now, when you get started, you're going to have to do those little things. My wife and I, we started fixing up little properties, and we did those together, and it was fun, and it was great, and it was a great time for both of us. But as we continue to get more and more, then we start hiring other people to do that, because the most important thing is, can you go find more deals? Can you make more sales? And then you have other people do that fulfillment for you. You only get paid as much as whatever it is you're doing. So if you don't have the money, you might have to do it. Now, I had a time when we had some pipes that were freezing in this little house that I bought. And so I hired a plumber, and he came out, and I don't know how much it was. Let's say it was $100 on it. And it was for an hour. It took him 10 minutes to fix the problem. And he was going to walk out the door. I says, I paid you for an hour, right? Well, good. Can you teach me about plumbing? Now, did I want to become a plumber? No, but I wanted to understand about plumbing so that I would know that if it's a good deal or if it wasn't a good deal. Okay, that's the big part that we've done for this section. We're going to come back for one more section with Kurt, and we're going to talk some more about your small business. So we'll be right back